Welcome back to the shop. Today's video is going to be a review and a walkthrough of the Tusk Pannier racks. This video comes per request from one of our viewers, so guys, please keep those coming. We like to see them and we'll gladly do more videos that you guys want to see in the content that you're looking for. So if you haven't already, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and be sure to share it on social media. With that, we'll go ahead and we'll get started with these Tusk Pannier bags, and we'll cover opinions, thoughts, some tips and tricks when you get them, as well as the size difference between the large and the medium bags. We've got some equipment here, so we'll test loading these pieces of equipment in each of these bags. I think that'll really help highlight what the difference in size is, because visually it doesn't look like that much, but when you go to load your gear, that's really what will tell the truth and give you an idea of what can or cannot fit in each of these so that you can make a selection. To get started, my high-level opinion of these bags, if you haven't seen it already in other videos, is just that they're a fantastic buy for the money. I think that there's not a whole lot else on the market that can offer you this much functionality in a nice package and for this price point. So if you haven't seen them already, go and check them out. They're on Rocky Mountain ATV. You can also find them on Amazon and a few other places, but they are really good bags for the money. They do come in two different sizes, which we have here, the large size and then the medium size. There is no small. Each of these comes in a silver or a black configuration. So basically you can pick the color choice that you like and you prefer that goes with your bike. As you'll see on the back side of each of these bags, there is a mounting bracket, and so along with the pannier system, there is a rack system. That rack system is specific to the motorcycle, so be sure to find the one that fits yours. I've gotten the racks both for the KLR 650 and also the KTM 1090. Both of those fit perfectly up with no need to hammer or pound on them to get them to fit. Then these brackets go right on the bag. There's some washers that are included that allows you to space this accordingly to make sure they sit on the racks and latch fully via the pin mechanism. So overall, a great mounting system and real easy to get going. As much as I like these bags, there are a couple of things that you're going to want to do as soon as you get them. These bags do have an issue with the little acorn nuts that come on the back side of the lashing straps, as well as the latch mechanism here on the front and the key lock. With vibration, they can shake and vibrate loose. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to use some Loctite. Blue or red is up to you. I went ahead with red because I did not want these falling out. They did start to back out on me. Some of the lashing straps got loose. That's why I went with this. I had read others had the same problem online. So I went ahead and dabbed red Loctite on each of these acorn nuts for the lashing straps, as well as the 6 bolts here that hold the latch on, and also the back side of this key lock mechanism. The threaded key lock, you'll want to take that apart and actually put some red Loctite on it. However, be careful when you're taking that key lock mechanism apart, because as you can see here on this bag, I actually don't have a lock mechanism, and the reason for that is as I was disassembling it to put that Loctite on there, I wasn't careful and the locking pins from the key lock mechanism actually fell out while I was doing it. So I have to get a set of those ordered up. They're cheap and easy to get replacements for, but to prevent that problem, just be careful when you're taking those out. Now, in addition to the red Loctite or blue Loctite, the other option that you have for securing all of these items is what I did on the medium-sized bag here, and that is I actually got rid of all of the hardware that typically mounts this up. These are screws with acorn nuts, and so instead on this bag here, what I did is I actually took all of those out and I replaced them with rivets. And so the rivets are actually, pop riveted in there. They hold nice and secure. There's no worry or concern about them coming back out. So I've been riding with this one for about 1,500 miles or so now, and I haven't had any problems whatsoever, and I'm real happy with the rivet solution. The only thing that I will say is if you're going to do the rivets, just make sure to put a little bit of silicone, because if you have a rivet where it's empty in the center, that can cause a little bit of a problem with water, so you might want to dab those with silicone. So that's basically the first thing that you're going to need to do to get these bags set up. Make sure that they hold up well over time. Other than that, the bags themselves have been absolutely flawless. One of the other things that I like about these bags is they have a little spot that you drill out, and there's a threaded knob that bolts into the racks so that when you lock them from the outside, they can't come off the bike. The secondary thing that does for you is it's actually screwed onto the rack, so you know it's not going to come off the motorcycle while you're riding it in rough conditions. So again, overall, extremely happy, and I just don't think there's a much better buy out there for the money that these things are. So I'd highly recommend those, and you can pick whether you want the large, the medium, or whether you want silver or black. Now, the color choice is yours, but let's move into why you might want to make a decision around the large versus the small, or the other way around. Okay, so I've had this question in a few different areas, and it is, how do I make a decision around the medium or the large? They don't look that much difference in terms of size. If we flip these around, you'll see that if you put one in front of the other, the size difference doesn't look that dramatic. However, when you start packing them, you will certainly notice a difference. And so what I would recommend is try to get an idea of how much you take with you and make a choice accordingly. There are advantages to running the smaller bags. Obviously, they're a little bit lighter. They also give you a little more ground clearance because the bottom of the bag won't sit as far down or stick up above your top rack in the back. But what we'll do to really emphasize the size is we'll take some of this gear that I've got here, which is my normal camping gear, a sleeping bag, a sleeping bag liner, a pillow, a tent, and then a folding chair. Now I know the folding chair is a little bit of a luxury and not everybody takes one of those with them. However, it'll give us a good common set of items that we're going to pack into each of these two bags to maybe help you make a better decision about which one is right for you. Okay, so to compare the sizes, we'll get started here, and we're going to start with the medium bag, and we're going to see how much of my sleeping bag, my two-person Kelty tent, my sleeping bag liner, and my pillow can all fit in this guy. And then we'll do the same thing over again with the larger bag, which hopefully will give you guys a much better real-world example of the difference in size between the two. So we'll start off with the Kelty tent. And what I do with this one is I try to pack it back in there as tight as I can, all the way up against the back side. So hopefully you guys can see that, but there's very minimal room down here in the corner, but I can't quite get the tent all the way pushed back in there because it's a little bit wider than the bag itself. So I'm going to use that little corner to house my sleeping bag liner and my pillow, and then we'll go ahead and we'll push that back in there a little bit more, and we'll put the sleeping bag in. And what you're going to see is that basically that is now completely filled. There's not a whole lot else. I can fit a few little items, miscellaneous, battery chargers, things like that, into this bag. However, there's not any other large items that are going to fit into this one bag. So that means that if I were going to run with the medium size bag, that I would have to use this in my other bag if I was going to take it with me, which obviously this is a relatively bulky item. I usually try to stay with one bag dedicated to all my camping equipment. That's just my personal preference, but that'll give you a good idea of what does in fact fit in here. Obviously then you've got the lid, close it up, everything fits in there. You could also always lash that to the top. But now what we'll do is we'll go through the same setup again, except with the large size bag, and we'll see how much room we have left over, if any, and whether all of these items will fit in that bag. And again, hopefully what that'll do for you guys is help you get a pretty good real world idea of what exactly does or does not fit into the small and the medium sized bags. So we'll just take all this stuff out here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll switch over to our large bag. So we're gonna put this guy down on the floor. We're gonna grab our big one, and we're gonna bring it up here. Same thing, we're going to take the lid off, and we're going to go ahead and start again with our tent. So we're going to put the tent in here. Now the first thing that I'll do is just highlight for you guys, when I put that tent in there, look at the difference in terms of how the tent fits in. Because these are deeper, that tent can fit all the way to the back and fit fully sideways. So already I know that I'm going to be able to fit quite a bit more, and there's a little bit more room at the top of the bag as well after putting that in. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put my sleeping bag in. I've got plenty of room left over, so I'm gonna put my chair in. I'm gonna put my sleeping bag liner and my pillow in there. And now what you guys will notice is that even though from a physical dimension perspective, it may not seem like much, what you'll see in here is that there's a lot of room left over. Basically, these items in the corner can get pushed down even more. I've got enough room in this corner to put another large camping item, stoves or anything like that that you might want to take along with you. And there's still plenty of room on top of here that I could put an extra pair of shoes that fit tidy down in here and then still put the lid on there. So even though they don't look like much of a difference from the various angles, there is in fact quite a bit of difference when it comes to the size of the bags. So again, now that we've put those in there, I'll just put them back up here. I'll give you a moment to look at those and I'll kind of turn them towards the camera here. And that way you guys can see from a physical dimension perspective, it's only a little bit in each dimension, but that little bit in each dimension does actually make a big difference in terms of how much will go in them. Now it also does mean that there's a pretty big difference when they go on the bike. You got to remember that each bag, adding that 1 inch to the width of the bag is going to give you 2 inches overall. So it does make the bike significantly wider, but if you're going on a longer trip, I do think that the larger bags are the way to go. Shorter trips, weekend trips, I think you can get by with the medium bags as long as you pack light, use a tank bag or some other luggage. I'll just turn these around sideways. Again, same concept. I'll line them up so you guys can get a good feel for what the differences are from that angle there. There you have it, a complete walkthrough of the Tusk Pannier system, my thoughts and opinions, and a comparison between the medium and the large size bags. This video was a direct response to feedback that we received, so please keep that coming. If you have ideas of other videos that you want to see, topics that you want us to dive deeper into, please be sure to let us know in the comments section, and as much as possible, we'll be more than happy to accommodate you guys. The riding season's getting warmer, so hopefully we'll have some ride videos coming to you very shortly. The next month is completely booked with rides, so there will be lots and lots of footage there. I'll just have to sift through it, edit it, and get it posted out there for you guys. As always, if you liked this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, be sure to subscribe, and be sure to share on all of your social media channels. So until next time, take care and ride safe.